The Lobster is a strange movie. It starts off with this emotionally like vapid man, and you can see he's just like an empty shell of a person, more or less. And I don't know, it's really hard to kind of digest like what kind of person this is, because it's just like, you know, he walks into a hotel and he's got this dog, and he's basically just like very blank stare, 1,000-yard stare kind of person. And so he checks into this hotel, and he's like, well, I just exited a 12-year relationship, and my brother was turned into this dog. So for context to that, the premise of this movie is basically, you get sent to this hotel if you are no longer in a relationship, or if you're not in a relationship. And within, I think it's like 40 days, if you don't find your perfect match, and by perfect match, I don't mean like your actual love of your life. I mean like, for example, there's a guy who has a limp, and it's like, oh, if I don't find a person with a limp, you know, then they're not my perfect match, and I'm going to be turned into an animal. Which is why his brother got turned into a dog. So anyways, he's checking into this hotel. By the way, the movie is narrated by Rachel Weisz. I forget how you say her name, but whatever. The chick from The Mummy. Very cool. Very awesome. And everyone, you know, who gets checked in is clearly depressed, and they're clearly like either divorced or fresh out of high school. Like there's a huge range of age of these people, but they're all just like, oh, if you're not in a relationship, you got 40 days to figure it out, or you're gonna be turned into an animal. Like, I mean literally turned into an animal.
Right now you can be a dog. You want to go to the park and bark at other dogs? You can be a dog yourself. For free, actually. Just go down to the park, start barking at other dogs, get on all fours, and be a dog. Pick a fight with a dog. Small ones, big ones, little ones, mini ones. Everyone can be a dog. I want you to go downtown right now and pretend you're a fucking dog.
So that's pretty cool. Another thing about this is every night, all the people in the hotel have to run into the forest, because that's where all the escapees of the hotel live. And they have to shoot them and kill them. And if you kill one of them, you get an extra night to not be turned into an animal. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, the main character, played by Colin Farrell, chooses, if he is going to be turned into an animal, he'll be a lobster. And his reasoning is, they live over 100 years, they're blue-blooded, just like aristocrats, and they're always fertile. So, I mean, that's cool, I guess. Oh, plus he loves the sea. I mean, who doesn't, am I right? Except for people who are, you know, aquaphobes. I don't think that's a term, but anyways. So there's this one girl who always gets nosebleeds, and his friend who he meets at the hotel, he's like, you know, desperate to get a match, as is everyone else, otherwise he'll be turned into a, like, you know, a squid or whatever. So he starts banging his nose on everything that he can see to give himself nosebleeds, and he goes, oh, we're a match, because we both get nosebleeds, because that's the way that this insane world works. And, oh yeah, John C. Reilly is also a character in this movie, and he talks with a lisp, so he's, you know, like, I'm John C. What? That's not a lisp. I'm John C. Reilly, I have a wisp. That just sounds like a fucking...
Okay, that's not a lisp.
But you know what I'm saying, he's John C. Reilly with a lisp, pretty funny. And he's a rather sad bloke, I'll tell you what. And basically, so from this point, you know, it's very much established. The point of this movie is the absurdity of social constructs. You don't find a mate, or maybe I haven't made that point quite clear, but it's very much evident in like the way the movie presents itself and everything. It's like, oh, you don't have your perfect mate, you don't fall in line with society's standards, well then you're a freak and we're gonna turn you into an animal because you're an animal, you know what I mean? Like it's insane. So there's this one scene that follows up pretty soon where they all start having to do these ballroom dancing things, and it's like all these awkward people will be like, hey, do you have a, you know, I don't know, what's an example? do you piss yourself every time you stand up? So do I. But you know what I mean? Point on that note, big dancing scene. I hate dancing. I've always hated dancing. You know why? Because I think it's a weird social construct. It's like, even, you know, like a kid, when you're in like middle school or something and you're a kid and you gotta be like, oh, let's go dance, find a dance partner. It's like, no, what are we doing? I hate this. I'm an animal at heart. This is nothing. Or this is just weird. This is alien to me. You know what I mean? It feels alien. As a human being, when I'm forced to dance, it feels alien. I hate it. Anyways. Going on. So, there's this one heartless bitch at the hotel who loves pain. She's basically a psychopath, I guess you could say. And she just, you know, she loves her kill count. You know how I was saying earlier, when they go out and hunt people, you get an extra day for every person you killed. She's at like 150 something, even though you start with like 40. So she clearly kills a lot of people. That's her thing. That's her thing that people have to match with. So the main character, Colin Farrell's character, is like, well, I'm gonna start pretending to be heartless and hurt people and stuff, and maybe that can be my match. So he starts trying to do that. At one point, he kicks a little kid in the shins. He's like, I don't care about her at all. He's a stupid little idiot. It's a hilarious scene. But anyways, so they're trying to match, but we'll get into that later. John C. Reilly gets caught masturbating. Also, you're not allowed to masturbate in this hotel where you only have 40 days to live. So what they do to him is they put his hand into a toaster. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. And also, okay, so there's this one sweet lady. There's one really, like, I think she's pretty cool. And I think her thing is, like, because everyone has, like, their one personality trait, and I think her thing is, like, she made, like, certain sweets or something, you know, like a baked good or something. And everyone keeps ignoring her, and nobody likes her, and I don't get why. Anyways, she's, like, tells the main character, she's like, well, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna jump out of a window.
It looks like he making suicide. Suicide is badass.
No.
And she's like, I can't decide if I'm gonna do it from the first floor, the third floor, the fourth floor. It's like, why would you do it from the first? Anyways, she does it from the first. And she doesn't die immediately. She just, like, breaks her neck. And she's just screaming and bleeding. It's like, oh! It's horrible. And the main character is sitting next to the sadistic woman. And he's, like, trying to pretend like, I don't care at all. I wish you would shut up so I could get have a little nap in. And this sadistic woman's just, like, sitting there watching. Anyways, that is enough. Well, that and a couple other things. I mean, watch the movie for yourself. But that among other things, the main character matches with the sadistic woman. They sleep together. She clues in, he's faking. So again, his brother's a dog, right? She stomps the dog to death. And then the next morning, her leg's all covered in blood. She's like, so I killed your brother with my bare foot. How do you feel about it? And he's like, that's all good. And then he goes into the bathroom and starts crying. And then she sees him crying, and she's like, you're faking. I knew you were faking. You liar. So she starts taking him to the, animal transformative room. But he's like, no, fuck that. And he beats the shit out of her. And then there's this random hotel worker. Well, I'm not going to spoil the end. I never like to do that. But she helps him get out of the hotel. So from this point, he's one of those forest people who get hunted by the rest of them, right? And he's, living in his little forest life because he escaped the hotel, and he was like, that's all insane. Again, it's kind of a metaphor for escaping social constructs, you know what I mean? It's like, at what point does it become so absurd that you have to eject yourself from such absurdity? the whole movie, the whole time I watched it at least, made me just think, you know, all of this is absurd, and you could laugh at it, or you could think it's dark and everything, but it's like, it's a metaphor for society, like, absolutely. It's like, why do we just accept certain things? Why do we just be like, yeah, because that's the way it is? It's the same thing that I was saying, I hate dancing. Why do we just accept that in middle school you go for a dance and you go to find a dance partner? Like, why? That's just so fucking weird to me. You know what I mean? It's just weird, like, I don't know, it's alien in my mind, at least to me. But that's what I mean. We only accept it because that's quote-unquote normal. And that's the same thing with this movie. These people only accept it because it's quote-unquote normal. But what the fuck does normal even mean? Anyways, ranting a little bit. So in the forest, when he's a refugee or one of those runaways, he finds Rachel Weisz, who has been the narrator of this movie up until this point. And he's like, wow, he's enamored. He's fully fallen for it, and slowly they kind of feel the same. Also, a thing about this movie, all the main character women, gorgeous. We're gonna put a screen on thing right now. We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. My favorite is John C. Reilly. But leave a comment below, 1, 2, 3, or 4, who your favorite is. So the movie ends with John C. Reilly turning into Tiamat, the goddess of dragons, and devouring all life forms on Earth, and taking them back to the 9 hells. No, that doesn't actually happen. So, him and Rachel Weisz's character fall in love, and with the help of their little red-headed French woman friend who leads the forest people, go into the city to do things, and I'm gonna leave it at that. That's only about halfway through the movie. I think you should definitely go and watch the movie yourself, but there are just little things that I think are really good. Like, there are certain quotes that's like, on a scale of 1 to 15, how much do you love your wife? You know, rather than 1 to 10. And again, it's little details like that that are like the absurdities of, like, why do we say things certain ways, or why do we do things certain ways? Well, why is it a scale of 1 to 10 rather than 1 to 15? You know, little things like that. And ultimately, I think he does find, well, go watch the movie yourself. But I wrote down here on my little notepad, you don't find true love, it finds you. So that was my last little quote. Anyways, go watch the movie, or don't. I don't really care. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, bye.